Let's turn to the United States now. A gunman who killed 17 people at his former high school is facing a sentencing trial in Florida. The shooting in the suburban city of Parkland, which is close to Miami, took place in 2018. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for Nikolas Cruz, who pleaded guilty last year. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes reports.
A school shooting that shook America to its core. It happened on Valentine's Day in 2018 and is the deadliest case involving a gunman responsible for a mass shooting to go before a jury in the US. Nikolas Cruz was 19 at the time. He'd been expelled from the school as a student. Last October, he pleaded guilty to 17 counts of first-degree murder. Now, family members and friends of the victims have gathered to hear whether Cruz will be sentenced to death or put behind bars for the rest of his life.
I'm going to speak to you about the unspeakable, about this defendant's goal-directed, planned, systematic murder, mass murder of 14 children, an athletic director, a teacher, and a coach.
It was a particularly heinous crime, cruel and premeditated, according to the lead prosecutor, who's arguing for the death sentence. The prosecutor laid out a moment-by-moment account of the shooting, naming everyone who died and the 17 who were wounded. Details that were too difficult, too painful to hear for some in the courtroom. The first witness for the prosecution was a teacher who survived the massacre.
Everything was just happening very quick in my classroom. A student made sure the door was shut. We shut the lights off. My students went into corners. I had some with me behind my desk. Almost instantly, I called 911 just out of instinct. They couldn't hear me over the sound of the gunshots. It was so incredibly loud.
The defence will make its case later in the trial and will argue that there are mitigating circumstances that justify a life sentence rather than death by lethal injection for the gunman. The jury will hear about Cruz's upbringing, a difficult childhood and mental illness that his lawyers believe should be taken into account. The jury must reach a unanimous decision if it imposes the death sentence. This phase of the trial is expected to take several months. Peter Bowes, BBC News.